Thank you for joining me. My name is Elaine Swann. I am the founder of the Swann School of Protocol. We're an etiquette training institute based in Southern California. I have been researching and teaching in the area of etiquette for over 25 years now. It may not look like it, but I am 53 years old and will be 54 this year. And I have been just had an absolute joy working in this industry. More often than not, people will ask me how I got started in the etiquette industry. And I always tell them that I got started because I was a student of etiquette. My mom felt that I needed to be more, not so shy and reserved. So she sent me to charm school. I eventually got involved with pageants in my senior year of high school and continued on from there. And every pageant I was involved with had an etiquette component to it. And that really opened the world of etiquette for me. And I became very, very drawn towards it. I later on became a flight attendant for Continental Airlines. And during my 10 year, I was there with them for 10 years, tenure with them. I also took the international etiquette and protocol training that was necessary for international flight. Not necessary, but it wasn't required, but it was something, again, that I was drawn toward. And that really opened up my world of etiquette from an international perspective. After that, I began to continue to take courses and classes. And I'm going to tell you about how the difference between taking etiquette training classes, which you certainly should get your certification, and then also some ancillary classes that can help enhance your etiquette acumen. So I took courses and classes and certifications in etiquette, and later on was asked to volunteer to assist young ladies in preparing for a debutante ball here in Southern California. And I was asked to do this by a sorority that is here. And so I did that. I volunteered for about 5 years until eventually a middle school principal asked if I can do a 6-week program for the students at her school. I did that 6-week program and it was quite a success. They actually paid me to do that after school program, which was really, really great. And it was honestly the first time that I had received money for anything as far as etiquette was concerned. And I thought, well, this is something that's quite interesting. Well, that program was quite successful. And they invited me back to come back another year. And then they began to refer me to other schools in the area. And once that began to happen, I recognized that this industry, as far as etiquette is concerned, was most certainly a viable business. I wrote my first etiquette book I launched the business in 2003. I wrote my first etiquette book in 2005. And also what happened in 2005 is I made my first accidental appearance on television on our local NBC News show to share my etiquette advice. And I say accidental because it was just happenstance that the Lord set it up for me to have that opportunity. I recognized that as something that was quite viable for my business and for my brand. And so I launched to continue to share my advice through the medium of television. Well, that helped me to grow quite a bit. And I figured out a formula on how to get on television as an expert guest. And so I shared my etiquette advice both near and far. As a consultant, individual consultant, I began to grow exponentially. And eventually, because of my notoriety that had been developed as far as television is concerned, I had been blessed to appear on everything from the Today Show, Dr. Oz, CNN, many local news shows, Inside Edition, Access Hollywood, so on and so forth. There were so many opportunities that I had that I began to get 3 different types of questions from people throughout the United States and abroad. One question is people would ask me if I could mentor them. They would say, can you mentor me? Can you help me? Because I have an etiquette consulting business and I see that you're doing pretty well. And what have you done to do well? The second question I would get is people would ask if I had a curriculum that they could purchase. They would either get their etiquette certification from somewhere else, or maybe they just were working for a company and they needed to apply that. So they asked for a curriculum that they could purchase. And then the third thing is they would ask if I could come to their city and provide etiquette classes to folks in their city. Well, I couldn't do the third one because I had already grown my business, and this is many years into this. I had already grown my business to the point to where folks could basically afford to, have me come and speak locally. But if you want me to come to your city, you're going to have to pay for my travel, ground transportation, hotel accommodations, per diem for meals, and also my fee for me to speak. And that's what you all can get from folks as well. And so many of these organizations, they had the budget to pay someone who was physically there, that was more local to them, but not necessarily this giant fee that I had. So I took about 2 years to research to see how could I answer the question. I received this information, these questions from people very much like yourselves who are on this call, individuals who are empty nesters, or they're at the point to where they are transitioning from regular employment and into retirement, and they're looking for a business to have, but they didn't want to work for anyone else. I got these sorts of questions from individuals who worked for a company and said, I work for this company and I really want to be able to adopt this information and share it with the folks who are either employees here or the people that we serve. Sometimes it was people from school districts, other times it was people in the human resources department. I'd also get this sort of question from individuals who have an existing business or wanted to launch another part of their business, and they felt that it would complement the work that they do. And so I took about 2 years to research and study, and I went through 3 different business accelerator courses in order to develop what we have now here at the Swann School of Protocol. So November of 2017, we launched our Etiquette certification and licensing program, which I'm so proud of. And what that is we provide 2 different things, 2 different tracks or courses, if you will. One is our specialized certification. That's for the individual who says, you know what, I've got my business idea in mind. I am going to, I want to add this to my business, or I want to add this to the work that I'm already doing with this organization. I just need my certification and I want to keep going from there. And then we also have the other individuals who are interested in our certification and licensing. And that's something like a business in a box, if you will. Kind of think about maybe a franchise concept where people come in, they get their certification from us, and we train them in the area of etiquette and then license them so they can operate fully intact as a Swann School of Protocol in their city. The thing that's great about that program is that you own the business 100%. It's 100% yours. You keep all the money yourself, and you just pay a small fee. But the thing that stands out to me more so than anything is that mentorship question that people ask often. In my research, I discovered that many individuals would go through, they get their certification, but what they would lack is some direction. And so for both of those products that we provide for individuals, the mentorship is the most important part. People want to know how to navigate and how to grow their business. And I believe that the Lord has blessed me so that I can be a blessing to others. And so I don't withhold that information. So once you do take a course with the Swann School of Protocol, you are alumni for life. That means you're part of what we refer to as the Swanniverse. And so we'll always be here to mentor you at a variety of levels, and that depends on you. But before we dive any deeper into that, let's talk a little bit about the etiquette industry. And I want to share this information to you. And I'm so glad you're here today, because that tells me that you most certainly have an inclination towards people to be able to help them do their best. The importance of etiquette is to recognize that there's a foundation that includes conventional norms, guidelines and rules and practices and behaviors such as table manners, consideration of others, conversational skills, business practices. Keep in mind that this is kind of the core value that we have as far as etiquette is concerned. I always mention the core values that we practice here at the Swann School of Protocol, which is respect, honesty, and consideration. If you do have our workbook, take a look at page 1 here. And I mentioned that proper etiquette and its code of behavior and the expectations, they are useful in both your personal and professional settings. Keep that in mind. You know, too often we think that etiquette has to do with how you use your knife and your fork at the table, but it does not. It really extends into a vast part of our everyday lives. So I want you to keep that in mind. Etiquette also promotes a culture of speech, common courtesy, your neat appearance, and definitely control over your behavior and the way you conduct yourselves. Think about this. So often people have said, oh, etiquette seems as though it's a lost art. But I have to tell you, it's the desire for people to behave appropriately in a variety of settings is not a lost art. How many of us have gotten irritated by someone or another in some sort of setting, whether it's in our personal or professional lives, whether we're in the grocery store, in the parking lot of the grocery store, and someone kind of cuts you off, or whether we're emailing someone, or even how we conduct ourselves on social media. In the customer service industry, there's so many areas that we see that people can certainly improve and be thoughtful towards other individuals. So keep in mind that etiquette goes well beyond the table, and most certainly into our everyday lives. It really helps members of society show respect and consideration to others. Now, in the past, etiquette was used as a reminder of status, and it really had to do with restrictions and things like that. But now today, etiquette really has more to do with displaying what we refer to as our three core values, which is respect, honesty, and consideration towards others. I guarantee you, you can take any one of those three core values and weave it through any area and aspect of your lives. Whether you're sitting around the Thanksgiving table, dealing with your family and friends, whether you're attending a wedding reception, whether you're eating at a buffet, or sending an email message, or corresponding with someone on social media, or presenting yourself at some sort of business setting or what have you, you can find that proper protocol is present in all of those environments. So keep that in mind. In today's society, you'll find that etiquette serves a variety of different functions that are, of course, taught by us here at the Swann School of Protocol. Effective communication, graceful style, your public image, your professional status, your presence, and one thing that's so important is creating that lasting impression. All right, and that's just to name a few. Okay. So without proper protocol and decorum, etiquette and the customs of our civilized society would disappear. So keep in mind that etiquette will always exist. It will always be in style. Now, what I'm going to share with you today are our 6 steps to success in the etiquette industry. All right. Number 1 is those of us who are teaching etiquette should most certainly have good manners. Number 2, to always have an opinion. And I'm going to go over each of these steps one by one. Number 3 is to do your research. Research is so vital, and it is absolutely important. Number 4, you should always use the power of polite in every area and aspect of your life. Number 5, get certified. It's the one thing that will set you apart from those folks who are volunteering. And number 6, you have to put in the work. All right, keep that in mind. It's a constant state of work that you have to be in. So number 1, let's dive into this here. As an etiquette coach, to have good manners, it's important for you to display and have good manners. There's a thing that I state often, and we've heard this, some of us have heard this before, is people do business with people they like. So you have to be likable. As an etiquette coach, you're not the individual who can turn it on and turn it off. Meaning, oh, I'll just let things fly by the wayside one day, and then on another day, then I put on my etiquette suit and I sit up nice and straight and I instruct people. It's really a lifestyle. You have to adopt the lifestyle of using good manners in every area and every aspect of your day, of your life, every single day. All right. Keep in mind, if you do want to excel in your etiquette business, it's important for you to adopt that as your lifestyle. So make sure that you're exercising what I call that etiquette muscle, meaning when you're at home, you're still practicing proper manners. When you're with people that you know very, very well, You should be the pillar and the example, all right? And this only comes by practice. So make sure that you practice these things. You're not going to learn everything overnight and be able to apply it properly. But just like any muscle, you have to work that muscle and continue to practice, all right? So good manners should be a part of who you are every day, especially in public, all right? So keep that in mind. As an etiquette consultant, you should practice good manners as part of your personal life and your style, all right? So again, as I mentioned, just don't turn it off and on when you feel like no one's watching. Don't do that. Instead, be an example in your home, be an example in your community, and also in the world, all right? So you are the shining example of all things mannerly. Keep that in mind. Number two, always have an opinion. Another important key about an etiquette consultant is to always have an opinion, because when news breaks or the latest scandal hits, people, they're going to start looking for the experts. You'll find that once you let people know that you're an etiquette consultant, they'll turn to you and they'll say, you know what? I just saw this story online where so and so got engaged, some celebrity, right? And she decided she didn't want to give back the ring. What do you think about that? And you're thinking, well, why are you asking me? Well, the reason why they're asking you is because you have made it known that you're an etiquette consultant. So people will most certainly start asking you your opinion. I want to empower you today and let you know that you, even if you don't have an answer for something, be honest about that, because that's one of our three core values, right? Is honesty. So if you don't know the answer, that's all right. Take some time and go back and look it up and see if you can come back with an answer. All right. But state your opinion. Don't be afraid to speak out on whatever the situation is. All right. Having an opinion is a must, even if it's not the popular opinion. All right. Some people may feel a certain way about a particular subject, and you may say, no, that's actually, that is not the correct thing to do. And so you have to stand in that and stand firm in whatever it is you have to say. The thing is to not shirk back and say no comment. There was someone I just corresponded with not long ago, and she was actually being interviewed by the media. And she says, they asked me a question, and I said to them, no comment. And they cut my story and never included me. And I said, well, the reason why is because you didn't have an opinion. And don't think about it from my perspective in terms of media all the time. Again, like I said, you all are going to be the go-to person, that litmus test for society. So do everything you can to make sure that you stand firm and share your advice on whatever it is, okay? So try to be either black or white in whatever your opinion is. Don't be gray and down the middle. We find that too often, that people will kind of try to ride the fence and not really want to say that something that's true or not, or what's appropriate in that particular instance. And we can always look at our local news or our national news today and see all sorts of different stories that are taking place, and people have opinions on all sorts of different things. And but the thing is, you have to be either one or the other, but not lukewarm and down the middle. We want to always make sure that your yes is your yes and your no is your no. Your I agree is this, or I disagree with that. And when people ask you your opinion, they're asking you because they value that. And so I want you to make sure that you feel empowered to state whatever your opinion is on a particular matter. All right. And one of the things that I would recommend that you do is starting kind of a journal, if you will, all right, where you can write down your opinions in real time. And what I mean by this, I'd like for you to, tomorrow, take a look at the news and see what's happening maybe in your community, or something that's taking place that involves the general public. There was a story that came out recently with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. And they talked about conflict that they had in the palace. And one of the things that she shared in her story, Meghan Markle shared in her story, is she said that she was frustrated that Kate Middleton, the wife of Prince William, had said something to her as she was planning for her wedding, and it made her cry. And that what Kate did was that she sent a note of apology, and she also sent some flowers to apologize. So, as an etiquette consultant, right, you can deliver an opinion as far as that's concerned. Well, when you hurt someone's feelings, what should you do? Should you ignore the situation and hope that it blows over? Is it appropriate to send a note to say to apologize? How deep did that hurt go? Should you send flowers to the person as well? So this is an example of something that someone might come to you and say, well, she made her cry when they were getting ready for the wedding, but how many brides do we know have cried while they're planning their wedding? Does it really take all of that to say I'm sorry? Well, one person may have an opinion about it or another. One individual might say, well, honestly, if you do happen to hurt the bride to be's feelings, make sure that you certainly apologize to her, and then you all can move on. And I don't believe flowers and a note are necessary. On the other hand, you might, as a professional, say, well, it depends on how deep that hurt was and their relationship. What do you want to do to repair that relationship? Perhaps in order to show that sincerity, she felt that the flowers and the note were something that was something that was important in that instance. And so that's an example of kind of looking at news stories and jotting those things down. So I would say one way for you to kind of stretch that muscle is to get a journal and write down those stories in real time. All right. And that'll really give you a real deep understanding of where etiquette is needed and where it lies in our everyday society. Okay. It's also good practice. If someone does ask you on the spot, you'll also know how to respond. Okay. All right. Having a mentor and an ongoing coach will help you learn more about the etiquette trade as popular culture changes. One of the things that we do here at the Swann School of Protocol is we have, as for our alumni, whether you are a Swann School owner, which is our licensees, or a specialized certificate holder, is we have regular meetings every single month that you have the opportunity to have access to. And we've done it since we got started. And because everyone is in so many different cities, we've always done it on video conferencing. If Amy can get ready to share her screen right now, I would like for you to take a listen to one of our Swann School owners and their opinion on the program that we offer here, because that mentorship is very important.
Well, I'll have to share, at the end of training, I was absolutely prepared. My website was up and ready to go. My professional Facebook page was ready. I had my business cards. I had my binder and all of the materials I needed to be successful. So all I had to do was go forth and be great. And so I'm so grateful for the experience that I had.
That was Nikisha Tannehill. She is our Swann School owner based in Shreveport, Louisiana. And she was one of she came through in our third class that we had when we launched our program. And she's doing a fantastic job. Her focus is on businesses. And so she operates and serves many individuals, but she also has an affinity to serve the business and professional community. Let's go on to number 3, which is to do your research. You'll hear me constantly say that I am a student of etiquette. And for those of you who are following along in our workbook, we're on page 5. You'll constantly hear me say that I'm a student of etiquette, and I am. I never stop learning. Not only do I take etiquette, have I in the past and currently now still take etiquette courses, but I also take classes that are outside of the etiquette realm. For example, our local hospice here in the area, they were offering a class on grief and how to deal with individuals who have experienced the loss of a loved one, or perhaps someone who's experiencing family members experiencing long-term illness. And they were offering a program for individuals to go through this course and learn exactly how to help people in those instances. And I knew that that was something that I was asked about quite often. So I took that course in order to help me to learn about this particular area. One of the other things that I did was I obtained my certification and received a certificate as a mediator. So I'm a certified mediator. I felt like that was very, very important for me to have so that I can assist people in dealing with difficult people in challenging situations. And much of the information that I learned as during my certified mediator course, I applied that to a book that I wrote called Let Crazy Be Crazy. And that particular book shares with people how to deal with difficult people in challenging situations. So always be a student of etiquette. Think etiquette, breathe etiquette, dream etiquette, everything you can learn. Definitely purchasing etiquette books are something that you should most certainly do. They should be part of your library. So if someone asks you about weddings, you can turn to your wedding etiquette workbook or to your wedding etiquette book. If they ask you about travel or what have you, you can turn to those books. So getting that library is great, is a good thing to have. I'm constantly sharpening my skills. I'm reading. I do research often. People at the moment COVID hit our shores here in the United States, I began to do an incredible amount of research to understand what was expected of people. I am not I don't talk about COVID from a medical perspective, but I most certainly talk about it and share my advice from a social perspective. When it first hit the United States and people were asking, should we shake hands or should we bump elbows and what's appropriate in various settings, to where eventually we got to the point to where we were not having any contact with one another at all. And so then a whole new set of guidelines came about. And I spent the entire year of 2020 on into the time that we are now, sharing my etiquette advice as it pertains to us connecting and dealing with one another from a social perspective, whether that's attending a virtual wedding or a virtual memorial service, or what we should do when we return to the workplace. Here in the United States, we experienced so much, and much of the information that I had to share had so much to do with the research that I do. I do research, I do surveys, I interview people in a variety of professions in order to gather the information that I need to share with those individuals. You have to keep in mind that you're going to be put in situations where people want to hear your opinion, all right? And they want to hear your etiquette expert opinion, not just, oh, I think people should do this and that, but they want to hear your etiquette expert opinion, all right? And so you have to be abreast of what's happening in our world and be able to shift and have those answers to help people when they're in their social situations. As an etiquette professional, you're also expected to know at least basic manners, right? So constant research and training will aid you in with staying informed with different industry norms. And when I say that, for example, as far as travel is concerned, I had did a story one time on what to wear when you travel. And the reason why I did that story, and I'm referencing that story as a blog, and the reason I did that story is because there was a young woman who had gotten kicked off a Southwest airline flight because her skirt was too short. She and that was picked up by a lot of news stations and people talked about it and so forth. So I did a story on what to wear when you travel, what's appropriate in that particular instance, whether you're traveling for business or whether you're traveling for. Thank you, Fran. I did a story on what to wear when you travel. And I shared my advice on what to wear in your business life and also in your personal life. And I was able to take that story and eventually pitch it to one of our local news stations. And then I went on the news and shared what to wear when you travel. And I even brought models along and had some nice visual aids as far as that was concerned too. So it's utilizing those things. So if you do come across a situation where you are a little bit stuck, you're questioning what etiquette dictates, it is absolutely acceptable. And you're not quite sure what to do, it is absolutely acceptable for you to tell the person that you need to get back to them and do your research to get in order to give them an answer. Okay, it's important that you do have a collection of resources. So make sure that when we leave here today, that you do start digging through those resources. We have a new book that's coming out called A Distinctive Approach. It's an etiquette book written by many of the Swann School owners, and that's a great book. And we do have the excuse me, the sales for that on our website. So that's one resource that you can have. And of course, my book, Let Crazy Be Crazy. So let's get on to number 4. We're going to power right on through this. And through powering, we're going to talk about the power of polite. You know, growing up, we were taught to use our kind words and phrases such as please and thank you and no thank you. And it's important to recognize that those kind words and phrases are still the proper things to do in terms of courtesy and respect towards one another. And so when I talk about you using that in your home, that's what I mean for you to do. When you're talking with your spouse or your family members or your children, when they call you, hey, mom, you know, or like me, man, you know, abuela, that's what my grandchildren call me. When they call me, I don't say what, you know, to my husband or huh. I say yes. In my home, it's please, no thank you, yes, please. Make sure that you're exercising that etiquette muscle inside your own home, all right? Now, I say this often, and I want you all to know this, that polite does not equal pushover. I will say that again. Polite does not equal pushover. Too often people think that etiquette means that we should pull back or not tell the truth or withhold information so we don't hurt people's feelings, and that's not the case at all. I want you to know that politeness is actually quite powerful. You can get more from people if you just exert a little bit of kindness in everything you do. You can still get your point across without verbally ripping into a person. You can just say it with a smile. Someone could ask you a question that is quite intrusive and rude. Is that your real hair? Well, you know, that's not something I want to talk about. But anyway, how was your day today? Okay. Or is that your real hair? You know, that's between me and my hairdresser. And you're not either one of those. So let's just talk about what your vacation was like when you went this week and go on from there. You can say that to the person. Now, I say often, people are always saying, how do I do this without making the person feel bad? Guess what? They are going to feel bad. They might be a little bit embarrassed. They might be a little bit bristled or might be a little bit taken aback. What I'm encouraging you all to do as budding etiquette professionals is to press past that and allow the strength of the relationship to endure that little moment of awkwardness, and you'll be better on the other side, okay? You can be very direct. You can be straightforward. You can be honest and considerate all at the same time, okay? You can be firm. Be firm with those individuals and be very, very straightforward, all right? It's just a simple matter of taking those 3 core values of respect, honesty, and consideration into play, and then just weave each one of those through whatever it is you're saying to that individual in that instance. But don't allow yourself to be a pushover. Don't allow people to push you over and think that because you're an etiquette professional, now you have to be very demure and to not say anything. No, I'm telling you, I'm an etiquette professional, but I'm also a business owner. And I run an organization. I run a company that has multiple employees, and I mentor all of the Swan School owners. We have over 20 independently owned and operated Swan schools throughout the United States. I'm very, very successful at what I do, and I did not get here by being a pushover, but I am very polite. I try to always make sure that I exercise politeness and not just bowl people over, but to make sure that I'm very firm and direct, but still respectful. So the other thing that's important is to number 5, let's talk about getting certified. Fortunately for the professionals in our industry, etiquette consulting does not require a any type of bonding or license as far or experience in the field before you start your own business. It's not like the real estate industry, right? So with that being said, or I'm using that one as an example, okay? So if you want to launch your etiquette consulting industry business, you can launch today. You can start your business today, and you won't have to have much to get that going. However, to be successful, I do recommend becoming certified for the following reasons, okay? Number one, it proves that you have completed a training or course for your area of interest. That's the number one. That tells the person that you've dug in and you went through and you did the training in your course, okay? It gives you more, it gives you more credibility, okay? When you're talking about your credentials, all right? And people will respect the fact that you have invested in your craft when you say that you are certified. Number 4, clients will not question your right to be charged for your services. That's the difference, right? When you say that you are certified etiquette consultant, people will not, they will do less questioning of it, all right? And they will be more apt to respect the fact that you're saying, I'm going to charge you for what I'm going to do, all right? Number 5, you can also add your certification to your resume of accomplishments, whether or not you are working for a company as an employee, or if you're owning your own business, you can add that to your resume, okay? You'll be connected to an organization that can help you build your business, which is really great when you get certified. Number 7, you'll have access to continued education in the etiquette industry. And number 8, current information will be made available to you, which will really help you stay abreast of the norms in etiquette and popular culture. And then number 9, we're on page 7 of our workbook, is that by getting certified by a organization or a coach, it's going to help you to grow more, to be more established. All right. So that's really, really important. I want you to hear from another individual. This individual went through our our specialized etiquette certification training, and they were able to apply this. And her name is Shimon. Excuse me. She was able to apply this to her current business. Shimon Edwards. She has she has 2 things. She has a organization where she has tea and events. And in addition to that, she has an organization where she serves youth. And she felt like it was important for her to have her etiquette certification. So let's hear from Shimon Edwards.
It really was changing for me because it validated a lot of the things that I did not know really what was out there. But I was like, this is what I feel I should teach. But then, your course helped validate, plus more, give more information on like detailed things of how to interact with students and how to go out and get business and things like that. So I feel like overall, the course that I did take helped bring everything together.
That was Shimon Edwards. She is an etiquette professional, and she received her specialized etiquette certification in children's etiquette from the Swann School of Protocol. Finally, number 6 is to put in the work. I learned early in life that your image is everything. How you present yourself, not only physically, but behaviorally, is incredibly important to your etiquette business. You get only one chance to make a first impression. Lifestyle practices can be challenging as far as the definition goes, but I like to explain to clients and people that I work with that the tools and advice to forge a meaning and lasting relationship with your clients are so important. All right. I encourage people to really maintain their way of life in values that will help them to prosper, regardless of what the individual's uh, uh, mindset is or their way of life is. It's really important that we recognize that this is a lifestyle. It's not something that we put on and something that we take off. Etiquette matters because it really is part of our everyday lives. And again, I mentioned earlier, it's not just about how you use your knife and fork at the table, but it's really about putting others at ease. Etiquette is about putting others at ease in a variety of areas and situations in their everyday lives. And so, in order to thrive and have healthy relationships, you have to put what you learn into use. So, in order for you to become an etiquette consultant, I encourage you to follow along and do these 6 things. Number one, have good manners. Start practicing good manners today. Always have an opinion. Do your research and start jotting down your opinion on everything that comes your way in terms of information so that you can then begin to share with others and people will come to you for that opinion. Number 3, do your research. Research online, purchase etiquette books, do your studying so that you can become abreast of the etiquette trade. Number 4, use the power of polite to advance you forward, to allow you to connect with other individuals, to allow you to rise above and become that authority in the etiquette industry. Number 5, get certified. Whether you get certified through the Swann School of Protocol or you get certified with another organization, get certified so that this way people will respect the fact that you have taken out some time to study and invest in your trade. And number 6, put in the work. You have to work at it. Don't get certified and not use it. Don't get certified and not exercise that etiquette muscle, but put in that work so that you can grow. Here at the Swann School of Protocol, the one thing that we really take pride in is the fact that individuals who go through our program, they grow. It's not a thing to where you take the course and then that's it, but we really pull together and grow with you. We have a whole team of individuals here working, whether it's in the study and research of etiquette, and we pass it along to you all, or if it is through our courses and our classes that we have every single month to help you build your business, to the emails that we send out each month to give you etiquette advice and business building advice. With our licensing program, the wonderful thing that we have is that we provide our licensees and our Swann School owners, for example, with social media content. So they have social media content to present. We have a community website, Facebook page and a community where we have those peer-to-peer relationships where people can talk and share ideas. You really come into an incredible community here at the Swann School of Protocol. I'd love for you all to take advantage of one of our programs. And if you're interested in one of them, please visit our website, swanschoolofprotocol.com, so that you can look at our licensing and certification program or our specialized certification program. Both of those programs bring you into the Swanniverse, and our goal is to help you grow as a professional. Our goal is to help you, give you the tools to have an impact on our world, on your community, and even in your own home. So I want to thank you so much for listening today. I appreciate you, and I'm grateful for this time with you today.